Hello and welcome back to Podcast with a K. I'm your host, Karla with a K, and I am joined on this fine evening, morning, afternoon, whenever you're listening to podcast time by Abbie Respondek. Hi, Abbie.
Hello. Good day. How you doing?
Doing just fine.
Let's
We just
go.
got done listening to Vance Joy's Missing Piece. Would you like to tell us why you chose this song?
Ooh, Missing Piece, Vance Joy. Currently one of my favorites from an artist that I've previously and more recently been able to photograph at one of his concerts. I'm not too sure if he's still on his tour that I caught him in, but I was able to see him down in Austin, Texas. I photographed his show at ACL Live, I believe it was,
Whoa.
and Missing Piece. Very good venue, very fun. Missing Piece was actually the song that he led the concert with. He opened with it, and it was a good time. Very fun song. High energy, just keeps the crowd going, or gets it going, I guess I should say, if they started with it. But a very fun concert that it was, and yeah.
So you said you shot this show. Is that what you do? What do you
Yes,
do?
yes.
Tell me about yourself.
Abbie Respondek. I am a tour photographer. I'm still trying to get into it a little bit more, but what I have done has been amazing and so fun. I have been able to photograph shows such as Tornado Pilots or Vance Joy or Sofi Tukker. Also a little bit of Modest Mouse, just a little bit of everything. And I also last year was able to photograph a music festival, very small one, but still
What was it
on
called?
the resume nonetheless. It was called Float Fest down here in the middle of nowhere, Texas, Gonzales, Texas, and it was a hot one, but it's okay.
You
We
survived.
survived. We survived.
I feel like most big festivals are also in the middle of nowhere, so they have that in common. It's just getting you ready for the real thing. Because honestly, those noise ordinances be a punk.
They are no joke. This was in the middle of like a cow pasture, I believe. So no cows at that time, of course. But
None of
it
that.
was none of that. It wasn't too far from where my family grew up a little bit of. So my grandma was my bed and breakfast. So thank you so much, grandma.
Love that. Shouts out to grandma. So how did you get into concert photography?
Oh, I just the same way I guess anybody gets into a hobby. Just picked up a camera, kept doing it a little bit, but I love music so much that I wanted to combine the best of the best of both worlds and a little bit of concerts, a little bit of photography, and I get to enjoy them both with live music and live music photography. So um, I am a part of a publication called Clean Teeth Magazine, which helps get you request photo passes through them or even a written review of said band or show or festival kind of a thing. So it's really fun. It's been a great thing. I've been able to photograph some of my favorite bands like Churches, Tornado Pilots, Sophie Tucker, those ones, and it's been a real blast. And
Is that how you keep track of all of the bands you've gotten to shoot? Because you've, in the times right now, twice that you've mentioned who you've shot, you've said different names and they continue to get progressively more and more impressive.
How to keep track? I really don't know. I make playlists off of the shows that I've been to, and if I'm like missing said artist, then I'll just put that playlist on. That's kind of fun. But I also have my stickers over here next to me that I'm kind of like keeping out in the corner of my eye of like my credentials. So it's just been fun and just I guess checking off a list of artists that you either want to see live or get to photograph live, which is very fun and very important because it's been great to check them off as it comes along.
Which came first for you then, photography or concerts, as a hobby and as a passion?
Um, I think photography came first. I wasn't too big into concerts just yet whenever I started photography. But then in the middle of college, I quickly switched from one degree to photography, and I think that's whenever I started going to more concerts then as well. And that's when I was just like, that's what I want to do. But I've always loved music. So, of course, live music is just going to be so much more fun and
Right.
a heck of a time. So, just a little bit of one step up from the next and everything, I guess.
You studied photography in school then. Did you already have an eye for photography before, or was it something that you found through school? How did you fall into photography as a whole?
How did I fall into photography? I picked up a camera, oh my gosh, many, many years ago. I think my first camera was I was given by my aunt and uncle for Christmas back when I was like 8. It was like this small little pink thing. I don't really know how much I used it, but I've always wanted to capture things like a different perspective and like hopefully like see a new eye. I think it's kind of like a cliche thing to say, but it can be true to who you are.
Cliches are cliches for a reason, you know?
Cliche, exactly. I do agree. I do 100% agree to that. And oh my goodness, I think whenever I was getting more serious about it, I didn't have a camera just yet, but I believe I had gotten like one of my first good phones 10, 12 years ago was the Nokia Lumia 1020 or 1040 with like a 41 megapixel camera. So at the time
Wow.
you're just like, whoa, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And it was very fun to use and to have fun with, and it was a touch screen. It was just a whole bunch of stuff. And so um I had some fun with the camera then. I think I still have some pictures saved somewhere.
Do you
Myself,
actually?
uh, maybe. I could find some. I could
That would
definitely
be
find some.
awesome.
I think I tweeted some out like a long time ago, and I kept a whole thread of it and all of that kind of fun stuff. So it's on the internet somewhere. Yeah.
By the way, you'll be able to find Abby's Clean Teeth magazine page and any other relevant links for today's episode in the description down below, or wherever it is descriptions are on your preferred podcast listening website.
Thanks.
So tell me something. Whenever you go to a concert now, do you do it for the artist, or do you do it for the fact that you get to create art inspired by said artist? Like, do you only shoot shows of bands and singers that you enjoy, or do you just take the shot no matter what? How do you select what you're
How do I
taking?
select
Yeah.
what I'm taking? Of course, it's gonna mean a whole lot more if you're a fan of the artist to be able to shoot their show, to create for them, with them, kind of a thing. But any and everything at this point, I would love just to create, and it just helps, of course, widen,
Mm-hmm.
whichever word's better, whatever would help a portfolio or even just the creative mind, just so you can see more things than what different artists do, or to even, just get different, like I said earlier, like eyes and like just like different visually different things for a portfolio, or just to even have it, just a little bit of difference everywhere, because if you shoot the same thing back to back over and over, it might not be as fun. But in that
Yeah.
sense, you can also get you have more time to create differently with said thing. But
Right.
the more time, the more um, opportunities that you have for the difference of artist or stuff like that, it would definitely help a portfolio and your own artistic eye.
You do tend to stick, at least in the time that I've known you, to the pop genre.
Mhm.
As far as concerts go, why is that? Is that just what
I
you
don't know.
enjoy, or is that the style you're comfortable with?
Um,
Because I feel like different concerts have different aesthetics, right? Like if you go to a rock show,
yes.
you should expect a lot more pyrotechnics than if you're going to a pop
Yes.
show. But if you're going to a pop show, you should expect a lot more technicolor lighting than if you were going to a grunge show.
No, this is definitely true. I think growing up, I was more of a pop girly. That's what I grew up listening to. Big fan of oh my gosh, Taylor Swift, Ed Sheeran growing up, that kind of a
We made it 9 minutes without her mentioning Taylor
artist.
Swift.
Dang it. Oh my goodness, you don't see the fun stuff of Taylor on this side. But no, it's definitely I think growing up you get different waves of music that you're more comfortable with, or like what you like, or what you're listening to. And I think I hit a point 6 years, I don't even know how many years to put it in. 2015, 2016.
hmm
I don't know how many years ago that was, but I think that's when I was leaning more into the alternative side, but there's still like some of that popness into alt, if I should
Yeah,
say,
it's
like
alt pop.
alt pop, yeah, yeah. But definitely, I don't know. Okay. Grungeness, have I shot any grunge shows or like a rock kind of a thing? No. Would I like to? Yeah. I would
That
like to
is
just
false, actually. You shot Skillet.
I did shoot Skillet. That's been a while. Oh my gosh, thank you.
For context, Abby and I met in person. We were internet friends for a while through another band, but we met in person at a Skillet concert.
Super fun. We had all access, and guess what? That includes the floor.
All
I don't know
access
if you knew that.
includes the floor. But yeah,
Oh,
we
good
we did do
times.
that. So you actually have gotten to shoot a little bit of something else.
You're right. I do have a couple of good flame pictures, and
Yeah,
I
you do.
forgot about that. Thank you. I need to go back and
Make a Skillet
fix all that up.
playlist.
Yeah.
No, that's funny. Um, do you so back to the thing that sparked this line of questioning. Since you do shoot so far artists that you enjoy, although you are portfolio building, and I would assume take the shot if some random band approached you and they're like, "Hey, man, come here, photographer." Since you do shoot bands that you enjoy, should you have the chance to actually meet or engage with these artists, would you take it, or are you happier shooting from the crowd? Like, are you happier doing the one-off shows, or is it more of an appeal to you to do the shows where you would be with one band throughout the entirety of their tour?
That's a good question. I think it would definitely be fun to do a tour and not just like, be with the band within like the concert setting, but to like to see like their livelihood kind of a thing throughout a tour, have a little bit of fun with them. If we're going to San Francisco, go to the Golden Gate Bridge, like little touristy things with the band and capture all that fun stuff that's around a tour, because it's also what makes the fans love it too. Because once you're in a different city or a different area that you like the fans are a part of as well, there's like, oh my gosh, they're at the such and such, oh my gosh, they're over here. It's a part of the fun stuff too that goes along with the tour and with live music and an artist, and that would definitely be fun to capture as well. But to I guess the other part of your question was like to stay specific and maybe like shoot for a magazine. Is that what you're and like get a whole bunch of
Yeah,
different?
either being like an in-house photographer or being a
Yeah,
publication's like lead photographer, like which would be your angle? For example, like with the podcast, I don't really stick to any genre of, guest or anyone. If I talk to
right,
somebody and they're
right.
interesting, I'll talk to them. Whenever we did the exclusives at WECS, it was just kind of whoever submitted a song and we were like, "Yo, that's kind of a banger. We should hit them up if they want an interview." It was just kind
Right.
of like, off of the cuff. And so since it was, I mean, they were significantly well-known bands because I didn't know who they were. I never really had to deal with being starstruck, but whenever I got the chance to interview Pete Davidson, I was like, "Oh man, this is
That is
kind of
true. I
crazy. I'm
remember
talking to
you
somebody who I think is really cool."
low key fangirling over here.
Yeah, man,
That's
because this was
you.
also like at peak Pete Davidson fame when the entire
Yeah.
internet was freaking out, like, "Yo, Pete Davidson's like kind of funny," and I was like, "Dog, I'm telling you, man." And he was our whatever, not the point, but I did get to interview Pete Davidson, and I think that was the first time that I was really like faced with proper like
Yeah.
star being properly being starstruck.
Right.
However, that being said, seeing how the other kids involved in the interview were behaving, I think that it kind of shook me out of it because as soon as Pete entered the chat, I was like, "Hey man, what's up? How you doing? Here's some questions." Back into like
I
the
have
podcast persona.
no, no, no. I think honestly, to piggyback on a little convo about that real quick, what snapped me out of being, because I was starstruck the first time meeting your previous podcast, not what is
Guest.
it? Yes, sorry, I was like, not a
That's right. I
co-host.
didn't even
Hold
mention
on.
that. The band that we met
Yeah,
through was Arizona,
the band
which
that we met through
last
is
week, if you listened to the
Arizona.
show, Zachary Charles of Arizona was our guest.
Was a guest, and the first time that I met Arizona and Zach and the crew and everybody, I he like randomly came up on the street into because my brother knew him more than of course me. That's how I got a hold of everything, and I was like, hold on, wait, and then I had to calm down, and then ever since I think I've been okay. So like that brief like 10-15 seconds of oh my goodness, kind of just lets everything else settle down and the starstruckenness. Of course,
Sure.
for certain people, sure, right. For some people, it's going to be a little bit more advanced to be starstruck with, but then if you're cool with certain artists already, then you're just like they're just another person. But
Yeah. I
if
will
you get
say
your
the
all-time favorite
internet.
person,
Yeah,
cool.
and I was gonna say the internet does help with that because with Arizona, I feel like there was at the very least on my end, since there was like kind of a gradual integration of Arizona into the day-to-day life just because Zach is an internet kid and we're all internet kids, like, it kind of felt
Yeah.
organic. I'll never cross paths again with Pete Davidson, and I never had that there. So I think that's why. Similar with whenever we met Skillet, like I was like,
Hmm.
yo, they're so cool live. And then seeing them like after the show kind of just being people, I was like, so cool, so down to earth. Wow.
So quirky, so different.
Literally built different. No, but that makes sense. So back to the question. Uh do you don't feel that level of star-strickenness whenever you shoot anymore, or is that not something you
Mm,
even consider? You just kind of go for the art, like do the scary thing first, get scared later.
I think it's a little bit of both. I think I still have certain I don't want to say pedestals that I place artists. But I don't want to say pedestal, but like I guess like the more famous they are, the more oh my goodness, it's so and so
Hmm.
that I'm gonna be. But with Vance Joy and everything, I guess like I'm not like the biggest fan, so I wasn't gonna be as like, oh my goodness, it's Vance Joy. But with other bands such as 21 Pilots or I have to check over here, hold on. I mean like Float Fest and everything, one of the artists that was there was Marshmello or Vampire Weekend, those kind of artists, and it's just like Chance the Rapper. I mean, oh my goodness,
Huge.
it's like big
Right.
names. So of course it's gonna be just a little bit of it, but then you're just like, all right, I gotta go to work, kind of a thing, and then like get
Right.
what you want, and then get in, get out, and then just party it up because for those you're just there for the first 3 or for the first 15 minutes, and then you get to have a little bit of fun on the back of pit or wherever you end up. So
Right. Because they at a lot of shows will let you shoot only the first few songs, right? Because then they have like
yeah,
their in-house photographers for each group.
sadly, yeah, sadly enough, but like just let
And
me
that
out
could
a
be
coach,
you.
that could be me. I'm trying.
That's funny. So, with that being said, which artist that you've shot so far has been, I'll ask it in 3 different parts. Which one was the most entertaining to shoot? Which was the most challenging to shoot? And which one was your personal favorite to shoot?
Um, hmm. I think the most challenging but also entertaining would be Half Alive, mainly because they do a little bit of interpretive dance within their show, and it could be very fun to try to get like those shots, but it's also very tricky to try to get those shots because they're moving, they're dancing, they're doing everything, and you're just like,
Hmm.
Hold on, stay still, please."
Right.
It's a little fun, a little tricky. Um,
God bless digital
Another
photography, huh?
I know, right? Like, thanks, and then just all that fun stuff. Um, Favorite that I've shot so far? On the books? On the books, probably 21 Pilots because I've done them twice now, and it was both a different tour, so it was just a little bit different, um, setup. It was the same set of albums that they had toured with, but a different setup just slightly. Um, and so that made it for a little bit more fun of to shoot, that kind of a thing. But off the books, Taylor Swift, because it wasn't for the publication. But I was able to bring in a point and shoot camera with me to her show that I went to back in Arlington back in the beginning of April. And I was on the floor, I was a little close, and some of my stuff that came out was loved it so much, and she's a favorite, so it was kind of fun. Kind of got some Twitter hits and everything,
Did
so
you know?
a little bit,
Look at you go, blowing up.
blowing up.
So who's left on your bucket list of people you'd like to shoot?
I would love to do Manchester Orchestra. They've been a really good fave of mine since I started listening to um alt music and everything. Um that's not good. Daft Punk's not a thing anymore, are they? Cry.
No, they are not. Tragic.
That would be very fun to do. Who else? I mean, Taylor Swift officially, could I say that's never gonna happen? But
You
Taylor Swift
cannot say that
officially,
that's never gonna happen.
sorry, you're right. Um,
Gotta
who
manifest that one.
manifest that one definitely. Um, I mean, Fall Out Boy would definitely be cool. Paramore would be amazing. They're going on tour soon, trying
Mm-hmm.
to get that hooked up and everything. Still waiting to hear back, only because tours even happened or started. It's not until like a month and a half or 2 months away, so we'll see. Um, Goodness, Manchester Orchestra. I'm blanking right now, but it's
I
okay.
mean, those are some pretty significant artists. They're
Yeah.
they're big names, so that makes sense that you'd have them at the top of your
Yeah,
roster.
yeah, definitely. I mean, not a big fan of Billie Eilish, but the way that she performs and like the fun and everything about her character, not to say character,
Her
um,
attitude, her persona.
attitude, all of that stuff. Yeah, definitely. She would be a fun person to shoot as well. So a little bit of everything. Lay it on me.
And whenever you choose, because right now you said that specifically, that it's not like necessarily that you're a big fan of Billie Eilish, but you like her performance. How do you go about scoping out those shows and selecting them for their aesthetic rather than for their sound? Do you go to shows to see what the vibes are, or do you just follow other photographers? Where do you get your inspiration?
Inspiration definitely from other photographers. I follow some big people names such as Ashley Osborne or Todd. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. I'm so sorry, Todd. But or
Shouts
Jake
out
Jake
Todd.
Chan Todd. Jake Chums. I can never say his name either. He was the tour photographer for Panic at the Disco for a very, very long time. And definitely seeing other artists' work definitely inspires and makes you want to do more shows and just the kind of different shots that they see or the different shots that they take. You're just like, ah, yes. And now I want that kind of a shot. There was a there was a photo way back whenever I was first getting into photography and content photography as well, from Brad Heaton, who was the photographer for 21 Pilots at the time. It was this top-down image, like from the catwalk, like all the way to the catwalk, top down from Tyler Joseph's 21 Pilots Tyler Joseph laying flat on his back on the stage, and it's just like it was kind of like a symbolic, not symbolic, but a mirrored picture from some boxing picture way back when. I can't remember who it was, who was the um who the photo was of.
Right.
But it's just like
Like it paid
different
homage to a different
things.
photograph.
Yeah, exactly. So it just helps different artists and everything definitely help just to have your little creative mind expand and everything. But for the artist side, I guess, yeah, definitely like knowing what their music sounds like and seeing other videos or either even photos of other shows. I would love to catch them, see how they perform, and see what I can do with their movement or their energy to create said images and pictures and everything. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's actually a really good insight as to how the mind of a photographer works. All right, we're reaching the halfway point here, so let's take a quick song break. you have another song prepared for us. Tell us what it is, who it's by, and why it's on your mind.
Um, this song is oof, a very fun one from mm, my favorite Taylor Swift. This is, I know, one of her more recent songs that she is going to be playing on the radio. It's called Karma, and it was also a very fun one to hear live. Um, yeah, Karma is many different things, as she says. I won't explain.
That was Taylor Swift's Karma. I'm a fan
Good vibe.
of simply the name of it, karma. Not necessarily because of what karma is or what it means, only because one of my friends, small humans, aka child, cannot remember that my name is Karla and always called me Karma. So,
Karma?
yep.
I might be changing your contact name in my phone now.
Karma with a K still
Oops,
works. It
oops,
still fits the
it still
brand.
works. Exactly, exactly.
All right. So, during said song break, we discussed a little bit more on an issue in the concert photography space that I was unaware of. You mentioned that you are a part of an online publication, and through this publication, you get access to shows. If you've ever been to a concert, you know they don't just allow anyone to bring in their big old cameras. You have to have a press pass. Would you like to tell us more about this incident and why it's important for there to be these, I guess, limitations on what the audience can and can't do?
Yeah, so definitely. More recently, I've seen, I guess I've seen it a little bit beforehand with people trying to sneak into shows. They fake credentials, or they even put on like some of those safety neon vest things just to try to sneak into like amusement parks or even the Super Bowl, and they've pulled it off and done it.
Wow.
And recently, it's insane. I don't get how people can be so oblivious to it, but to even just to try to actually do it themselves, beyond me, because that can be very scary. It can end horribly, very many ways. But with this incident that I saw just the other day was that somebody had faked a tour credential and snuck into a show. They got backstage. They even slept in the venue overnight
Oh, wow.
and then left in the morning, and just to say that they did it, and they're getting clout for it, and they're upset about people being upset about the incident. And that's, I don't think that that's okay.
What show was
People,
this at? Do you know any more of the details?
it was a SZA show, and
Oh,
I
wow.
can't remember the venue of where it was. Rogers Center, I believe. I don't know where that is, but I believe SZA's shows have been at arenas, like a bigger size capacity, like a basketball arena kind of a venue,
Like
size of a
stadium
venue.
type venues.
Stadium, yeah, like yeah, definitely. So it's it's a
Yeah,
large size of a crowd. Um, and they just faked a credential to get in. I don't know how accurate the two of the actual credential was versus the one that this guy had made, but definitely I don't think it's okay because the safety, it's, you're risking the safety of the tour, the artists themselves, um, the other bandmates that are there on tour. I don't know how SZA's setup is of anything
sure,
of any
but
sorts, but
every part of the crew and the
every
artists.
part of, definitely. And it's just, I don't think that it's an okay thing to do just for the clout of it, just to say that you did, just to try to say, oh, I did what so and so has done previously, sneaking into Super Bowls, I snuck into a
Yeah.
concert. I don't think it's a good vibe. It's not, and then you're going to try to show this to people, younger generation, and then they might go off and do the same thing and they could get themselves hurt as well. I don't think it's not a good vibe. It's not okay.
Right. I mean, and hear me out, okay? I know that unfortunately Live Nation, Ticketmaster, all of these monopolies in ticket sales right now have made tickets almost impossible to get, and when you can get them, they're expensive, not even on resale, just on default with all of the fees, to the point where venues themselves don't sell it at the box office because it's all immediately picked up by scalpers online. That
Yeah.
being said, even so, it's definitely not worth it to sneak into a show for the safety of it. And, you know, if it's not a sold out show, you're sneaking in at the very back, whatever. Like, don't do it, but like, whatever, right? I don't like that people are falsifying credentials to come in as part of the crew or part of the press, because that's where it does become a safety issue. Not even like, you're not going to do something crazy. You're not going to rush the stage. That's fine. That's one more body in a pit that had numbers accounted for, because it's a safety issue in the fact that there's 10 photographers tripping over each other trying to get to the stage. There's hella cables, there's hella equipment everywhere, and you're just adding more people
XYZ.
to the mix. And whenever someone has a list of there should be 10 people here and they see 11, that's more chaos for them to try to figure out who doesn't need to be there.
Yeah. And especially, it wasn't just him in the pit. He was on stage, backstage, and he even showed one of the guys. I don't know if it was an arena worker or if it was a part of the, if he was a part of the crew. Like, he actually showed him on camera saying, "Hey man, thank you so much for letting me back here." And he said, "You can't be filming." Like, he's like, don't film this," and he ended up filming it anyway for the clout, for the um actual saying, "Oh, hey, this is, I was doing this," like, for the sole purpose of, "I have proof that I did it,"
Yeah.
kind of a situation. And with how live concerts have been happening with very real, um, I don't want to say like the Vegas shooting a few years ago, with how that festival was, or even there was a bombing in Manchester many years ago as well, with Ariana Grande present. Stuff is scary, and it's a definite safety hazard, and you are
You
only
never know
accounting
what's
for
going to happen
yourself.
at the
You
show you're
never
at.
know what's going to happen with the show you're going to be going at. So once you start, showing people what you did and how you did it, other things can be happening as well. And that's, take that away. Throw it
Yeah.
all away.
And I have, not necessarily about this incident, but I have seen in the past about like meet and greets and all access passes and stuff, uh kind of a weird attitude about celebrities, like, oh well, they know what they signed up for, they did this for a reason. A lot of it's management, right? Like, you get your 3-second photo shoot and that's it, and that's what you paid for, that's what you got, that that's what you're going for. I don't like that people treat the artists some type of way about it, and I don't like that artists are held to such weird expectations, in that people have been complaining that there isn't really any interaction, that you don't get to talk to them, that there's this, that there's that, and like you deserve more. Specifically with female artists, and people trying to pose in ridiculous ways with them, and then the artists getting ridiculed because they look the same in every picture, arms crossed smile, or like the awkward side hug. And
Yeah,
it's like, yeah,
yeah.
because people push too far. And yeah, it's not your fault that the guy beside you was an idiot, but of course the artist is going to feel some type of way about it. All this to say that at the end of the day, whether it's being upset that the meet and greet wasn't more meet and greedy, or that it's impossible to get a press pass, or that tickets are too expensive, behind the scenes, that artist is also a person just kind of being told what to do by their crew, right? And so
Exactly.
it's frustrating to me, not even as someone who, as a fan of music, who has friends in the music industry, or in general anything in the performance space, like, it's just frustrating that there's this disconnect between what we expect from a celebrity versus what the celebrity can give. Because yeah, the celebrity lives a detached version of reality, but that doesn't mean that they're not still a person, right? And to me, it's really, really, really weird to see what the internet has done for that. Not specifically SZA. I'm thinking of what's her name? The other one, Doja Cat.
Hmm.
Uh, in that, because she was so internety, we talked about, being internet kids, because she was so internety and used to hang out in chat rooms and does really weird lives and stuff, people kind of expect her to be some type of way and then get mad when she's not. And this was, a series of TikToks that I saw in a brief fleeting moment, because we have friends that are into Doja Cat, so it affects your algorithm. And I don't really care for her music or anything. I'm like, sick, she wants to be weird in a chat room, that's not my problem. But
Hmm.
it's annoying to see all of these comments being like, "Oh, well, she's like this over there. Why can't she be like this at the show, or behind the stage, or whatever?" It's like, homie, she can do whatever she wants. She's still a person.
Exactly. And she doesn't owe you that much. She doesn't owe you anything in that sense of a better selfie or a better, stuff like that. It's just like, they are people too, and since I mean, if they are a celebrity, they have security for a reason. They have XYZ for a reason. They need to be safe because it's not just you trying to get a picture, but so many people look up to certain celebrities, or not certain celebrities, but celebrities in general, and that's why they should be guarded more, protected a little bit more. So don't force nothing. Don't try to say, "Oh, that's not what I expected," because you get
It
how things happen.
sucks, but that's kind
It
of
sucks.
how it is. And
Yeah.
that's not to say that celebrities don't have like a certain degree of responsibility in crowd work, right? But
Right.
this is more on the uh on the perspective that like it's so much more than just I paid $100 and had a crappy experience. It's it's about, like, for example, like you said, people faking credentials to be able to get close to the artist that they want to meet because they don't want to pay that $100. Well, it's like, homie, that artist doesn't owe you anything. Like, I get it, I really do, but nobody owes you anything, not even celebrities.
Nope. And that's what people don't understand sometimes, is it's just like, "Oh, yeah, I'm just doing it because I can." Just just listen to your music online. Just go to Spotify. Just stop.
So we've gone on a bit of a tangent here, but kind of bouncing off of that, as somebody who is trying to get into the concert photography space, like you're kind of already there. You have access through this publication. Your name gets cleared. You get cleared as a person, as a photographer, and as someone who's trying to kind of make it into a bigger space. Um, what would you say to somebody that wants to get started to begin with? Because there is a lot of red tape. There is a lot of work you got to do to be able to get your name on the press list, right? So
Right.
what advice would you give to somebody in this situation?
Just start. I know you have to start somewhere. That's how everything works. But if you can't afford a camera, of course, bring your phone to the shows. Of course, getting closer to the stage helps exponentially. But try to, use your resources more, to be able to be seen, be known, through, social media is a big thing nowadays. It kind of has been for the last years, it feels like. And if, you have some sort of work in a way that people have been seeing, then it definitely helps to be maybe picked up by publication. But having your own camera really does help, with it all. So if you're able to get a camera, try to get a camera. Um, do a little bit on the side, as just go to smaller shows. Like, if there's a band at your local, I don't know, bar or whatever on like a Friday night, they're just having fun, just playing some songs, cover songs, whatever, cover band. Start there, start small, and work on a portfolio that way. And then whenever the time comes, if you have enough, take it either to a publication or see if there's other publications that are looking for, people to join their team, and you just continue on from there. You just see publications can work one of two ways or multiple ways. Um, the way that ours works is I can request which artists that I would like to shoot, but I've also definitely seen that there are specific assignments that publications want people to shoot as well. So even if I don't want to shoot Skillet, but publication, you're going to shoot Skillet, kind of a
Take the shot.
situation. So take the shot. Yeah, just go have fun with it. But if you are on assignment, then take all the shots that you can.
And
All
how
that
do
kind
you
of a
go
thing.
about finding those leads for shows if you aren't a part of a publication? I say this because you mentioned Jake Chams earlier, and he has a server that's on Discord that's kind of a hub for photographers, but also other creators to kind of find and network for different opportunities within the space. Because I feel like it's important to note, and this is going to set us on another tangent, it's important to note that another photographer, another artist is not your competition when they're your friend. And,
Exactly.
friend is a loose term here. There's no friends in show business is a phrase for a reason. But no
Yeah,
one's your competition when you can use your resources and use that connection to get to where you want to be. So
definitely. Um, so there are, like you said, there's a publication, a server that people have seen. Um, I've been able to see different, photos in that server, or even like there's job postings. There's different ways that you are able to network through people. So I've even met different friends from shows I have at the festival that I was talking about, or even at Half Alive. Definitely, it's fun to get to know people and to be able to network, and hopefully, um, one thing that you do need with requesting shows is a press contact to be able to request for said artist or um, music. What's it called? I'm losing my brain. But like for for the artist, like specific the label, if you need like a contact for the label just to shoot the shows, um, just share press contact sometimes. That's hopefully that's like you said, they're not your enemy. You're trying to help people up. Um, but
And where would somebody go about finding this sort of information if they're trying to get their leg up in the world?
just even like if you are your own um freelance photographer, that kind of thing, just try to see, just like say Google, say, hey, who is Skillet's press contact, who
And
is
it's that
the
easy.
publication. Sometimes it's that easy. It's either like on LinkedIn, or it's on like a set of, it can be that easy. And once you have that information, sometimes even like the label has different press contacts for specific artists, and so sometimes they might overlap. And it might be that easy just to be able to say, oh, hey, you were such and such's press contact. What about this artist? Can I also photograph them when they're in town in a couple of months? And it might just be that easy.
And just like that, you're in the scene.
Just like
And you
that, you're in
also
the
can see
scene.
stuff like that by following other photographers, like Abby said about following for inspiration. Every now and then, people will post just looking for someone to shoot for the day. Um, I don't remember his first name. I only know him by his handle, Almacius, but uh, he's also another concert photographer for a bunch of bands. I want to say a bunch of bands in the band space. I want to say he did Pierce the Veil? Question mark. I don't remember. Uh, Concert photographer nonetheless, and every so often it'll just be in LA looking for someone to shoot for this music video today, send portfolio email here. And it's
Yeah.
that simple. If you follow people within that space on social media, because social media is really huge nowadays and has been for the past 10 years, it's a great way to get those connections in. Um, if you don't know who your band's favorite photographer is, well, as soon as they're on tour, you better start clicking through the tags because they're going to be tagged and credited there, you know?
They better be.
And
If they're
if,
not,
yeah,
tag your photographer.
tag your
Credit your
photographer.
artist.
Those are actually very, very accurate words.
Very important.
Super.
Super important.
Exactly.
So yeah, no, just being able to help each other in that aspect, like you said. I believe Ashley Osborne, who was 21 Pilots' touring photographer with their last couple of legs of tour, had posted a month or so ago, maybe 2 months ago, that she was trying to help look for a touring photographer for a small amount of time, but had to have tour experience. Like send portfolio immediately, or send whatever it is, as you can, and probably help pick somebody up for tour in that aspect. So definitely bigger artists do help other people try to get picked up, or even just into the industry and into the scene. Um, and it could be easy as that. So always, if you're trying to get into it, always be on the lookout for that kind of information, or that kind of a space. So sometimes it's just keywords on searching into Twitter or that kind of a stuff. So follow your photographers. If you don't know who they are for your favorite artist, it should be in the tags, hopefully.
And how do you go about having or creating that portfolio? How do you pick the shot from each show?
The shot from each show, I've only been able to do that just a couple of times. Like, oh, that is my favorite shot from Tornado Pilots or from churches or during, all the Float Fest. Creating a portfolio, we just have like a couple of favorite shots from the set, I guess, and
And
which
which
one just
are those
looks.
shots? What are those shots of?
I hmm, for a Tornado Pilots photo that I have, that's my favorite, is actually hanging on the wall over here next to me. Because why not display your own work if you're proud of it, right? Um, It's a silhouette picture of Josh Dunn, the drummer, and behind him is a spaceship taking up like an alien kind of a thing, like pink and all that kind of fun stuff because I don't want to say not his persona, his thing for a while was aliens and that kind of a thing. So I had no idea that this was happening on a screen behind him before I shot this, but it was just a very, very cool shot that I had just to edit just a little bit of, just to make it all cohesive and dark. There were some lighting spots that I needed to fix, as any other image needs to be done. But not much stuff was done with it, and that was one of my favorite ones from that set. It's just, I guess, picking the one that is the one, it just whatever you connect to the most, or whatever shows the most emotion. I think that's what I love about photography in that aspect is just like which image shows the most emotion or can you relate to the most with, or which one is can you connect with, resonate with, all that kind of a stuff. So I definitely have a few favorites. That one of Tornado Pilots, I have a really nice one from Churches during Float Fest this last summer. She's going like her hair was all blowing in the wind because it was outside and the lighting was amazing and all that kind of a stuff. And then I have an amazing one of Arizona as well from ACL. It's over there. You cannot see. But definitely a favorite since when was that? 2018, 2019? So
Probably. So
definitely
more than chasing an aesthetic with your photography, you are looking for an emotion.
an
And that's how
emotion.
you
Yeah,
pick the
just
shot.
that's how I picked the shot because I mean, with the aesthetic, you can change that easily with how you edit your photos with the tones, the gradients, the I don't want to say filters,
All of the
but
technical aspects.
all the technical aspects. You can change anything in a photo, which can be scary but yet fun. Just because you don't want to doctor it too much. I personally, my personal style is not too much of a edited photo, so
You edit
I
more
just like
for realism so that you can kind of get across the moment that you were seeing as you
the
were
moment that
seeing it.
I was seeing. Granted, I'm still trying to work on my editing technique and everything. I guess every artist is at some point, just to see um what you like most about it. And I guess I think we've previously talked about this as well. It's just what it's not just the emotion shown on stage, what makes a photograph, but the how to edit it for different artists or different bands.
Sure.
If like, certain artists, for Pierce the Veil or for Fall Out Boy, you wouldn't put this cutesy little filter with all the like you just wouldn't do that for
You're not
a
gonna
rock
highlight the pinks
style.
and the blues, right?
No,
You're going to bump that
exactly,
contrast, you're gonna drop
exactly.
that lightness.
The shadow, the depth,
Yeah.
everything, you find a certain exactly. So there's definitely different aspects that you highlight or take away or whatever the case may be per artist or per
But primarily
situation.
what
Yeah.
matters is the actual content of the shot.
Yeah. That's what I would love to see the most. That's personal to me. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, as our time here draws to a close, Abbie, thank you so much for coming on and talking to us about concert photography and photography in general. Is there anything that you would like to say? Any closing remarks, statements, shout outs, etc.?
Closing remarks. Just if you're trying to get into concert photography or if you're just having fun with what you're doing now with just your phone, if you can get your hands on an actual camera, go for it. I am not above, do it, just do it. If you like to shoot with film, if you like that little fun little dainty style-esque
And
aesthetic
even
kind
if
of
you're
a
shooting
shot.
with your phone, right? Create the story
Even if
because you have some great shots of just confetti on the
exactly.
floor.
Yeah, exactly. Like you create the moment, just go for it, do it, take the shot. Wayne Gretzky, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So just do it, okay? It's gonna be
Thank you, Shia
okay. If
LaBeouf.
just do it and have fun with it. You know, if you want to create, create. Don't we need more artists in the world. So we need to be able to see what your brain sees. So create it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for this. Would you like to introduce our closing song for tonight?
Closing song. Very fun. Previous artist that I have photographed on tour. This is Sophie Tucker's. I think this is in Portuguese. Is it Jacare? I believe that's how you
I don't
say it.
speak Portuguese,
We'll
but I'm going
see.
to
I
trust you
don't
on
speak
it.
Portuguese. But yes, no, it's very much a vibe, a big bop, and lots of love. So yeah.
All right. Well, without further ado, here is Sophie Tucker. Please tune in next week for new nonsense and new guests. Follow us at Podcast with a K wherever you want to follow us. And I will see you next time. Farewell.
Bye.